Hi everybody and welcome to the University Roadshow 2021. My name is Fiona from Education Recruitment and Marketing and we're your hosts for today's event. So as you'll see from the screen in front of you there, we have over 18 different universities who are going to be exhibiting today on our stand. So before we get started and before you go along and chat to them, I'm going to take you through about a 30-minute presentation, which will detail a wee bit more information just in terms of kind of the application process, the types of things you're going to want to be including. I'm going to talk to you about picking the right course and the right university that's going to be the best options for you. And there'll also be a bit of information with regards to kind of the fee, the finance, the funding side of things, which is so important. And to be honest, it's probably the main off-putting factor for students in Ireland whenever they're thinking about heading away to go to university. But hopefully once we've explained everything and how it all works, you'll realize actually that it's not as bad as a lot of people think it's going to be. And in fact, it's actually a really good, affordable system, what with the student loans being in place. Okay, so just to get started, the real concept of today is, can university outside of Ireland be right for me? Okay, so you've probably had a lot of information, a lot of advice, and you probably know a lot of maybe friends and family members who've gone to the more local universities around you in Ireland. And sometimes because we do have universities on our doorsteps, we don't tend to look a wee bit further afield. So really what we want to do is open up your horizons, open up a few new doors for you today, and talk to you a wee bit about what's on offer outside of Ireland. Hopefully be pleasantly surprised in terms of kind of what's on offer. There's thousands and thousands of courses available, and also because there's so much more choice in terms of university and courses, the competition tends to be a lot less than what we're used to in Ireland, and certainly in Northern Ireland as well. So again, as a result of that, you do tend to find that the entry requirements tend to be a wee bit lower, and the courses generally are less competitive. So hopefully that's some good news to get us started with today. Okay, in terms of what we're going to cover then, choosing the right degree, okay, that's very much down to you in terms of kind of what you're studying right now and the kind of career path that you're wanting to go down. But we're going to just mention a few things just to kind of to think about and to get the thought process going there. We're going to talk to you then about choosing the right university, very much what today's event is all about. It's really about matching you to a university that's going to be best suited to you. We're then going to talk to you about how to apply to university. So we're going to talk you through the UCAS application, which is the application that you will use if you're applying to Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, or Wales. And we're going to touch a bit on the CAO application as well, for those of you who are applying in Ireland. And then the last section then is going to be with regards to kind of the financing side of university. So a bit about the fees, funding, bursaries, that type of thing. So as I said to you before, it's a very important part of the presentation. Okay, so in terms of choosing the right degree, as I've said already, it is very much down to personal choice and to what you're studying at the moment and the kind of career path you want to go down, but also what you're interested in. So we've listed 5 areas to think about and consider when choosing the course at university. So the first one you'll see there is interesting. What we're saying to you here is make sure you're going to enjoy it. You're going to be studying this topic or this subject in depth for 3 or 4 years of your life. So it's really important to make sure that you're going to find it interesting, that you're going to find it enjoyable, and that way then you're going to do the best that you possibly can in that degree. Okay, the second area we're saying to think about and consider then is entry requirements. And what we're saying here is just be realistic. You'll see whenever we're talking about the application later on in the presentation, you do only have 5 choices, of course, in university with the UCAS application. So you don't have an awful lot of choice. So it's really important just to be realistic, to chat to your teachers and to your tutors and get a good idea as to the type of grades you hope to be getting, just to make sure that you're using your choices wisely and that you're applying for courses and for universities that you have a good chance of getting into. Okay, the third area then we're saying to consider is course content. So again, what we're saying here is just do your research, okay? Because again, a lot of people say to us when writing about maybe careers fairs that they're interested in doing a degree in history, say for example, and that's great. But I mean, there's thousands and thousands of different courses on offer under the subject of history. Okay, so what one university could offer could be completely different than what another university offer. Okay, so it's really important to understand exactly what modules you'll be studying and kind of what areas of history you're going to be studying. Make sure that's going to be the right area for you. Okay, so again, what we're saying here is don't just take the course name or the course title and just assume that you know that they're all going to be the same, because they won't be. Okay, so do your individual research into each university and each course that you're applying for. Okay, the fourth area then we're saying to consider is job prospects. So again, do you already know the type of kind of career path that you want to go down, in which case that's great. You're obviously very determined, very focused. But again, just make sure that you're going about it the right way. Make sure that you're doing the right degree that's going to allow you to go down that route, basically as easily and as quickly as possible in the least amount of time, really, okay? And then the last area we're send you to think about and consider would be the competitive nature of a program. So again, there's going to be certain programs that are going to be very competitive no matter where you're applying. And it's going to be the likes of the kind of the teaching, the healthcare programs, that type of thing, performing arts areas like this, okay? So what we're saying to you here is, don't just assume that because you're maybe hitting the right entry requirements that you're going to get a place on the program. Quite often that's not going to be enough for the likes of these competitive programs, and more often than not they are going to be looking for some kind of experience, okay? So again, it's really important to make sure that you tick all the boxes that you have, all the requirements to apply for the program, to just basically make sure you're going to give yourself the best chance of getting a place on the program. If you, once you start doing your research, you realize that you are supposed to have maybe 5 or 10 days experience, don't panic. It really is just important to kind of get on the ball as quickly as you can and try and organize this experience as soon as possible, and to make reference to it then in your personal statement as well, okay? For those of you who aren't going away until the following year, obviously this is something you're going to want to think about this year in terms of kind of organizing any work experience or any work placements that's going to be required to get a place on the program. Okay, so choosing the right university, okay, very much what today is all about. So again, as I said to you at the start of the presentation, you're going to be surprised by how much is an offer whenever you're looking at universities in the UK. Okay, so you'll see there's 350 plus universities and colleges available, okay? And then that's broken down to 4 in Northern Ireland, which is essentially the 2 universities in Northern Ireland, but University of Ulster has 3 campuses, okay? Which would make up your 4 in Northern Ireland. There are 15 in Wales, 19 in Scotland, and 324 universities and colleges in England alone, okay? So as I said to you, you will be absolutely spoiled for choice. And hopefully after today, you'll realize that there's a course out there for absolutely everybody, no matter what you're interested in, no matter what you're passionate about, no matter how niche it is, no matter what your family circumstances are as well. There really could be a course out there for absolutely everybody. It's just about putting the time and effort in now to do the research and find out what's going to be best suited to you. So as you'll see there's over 35,000 courses available, okay? So you really will be surprised at what's on offer. Okay, so in terms of choosing the right university, again, we've listed 5 areas to think about and to consider. The first one is location. So our advice to you would be, if you're thinking about heading away from home to university, choose a university that's easy to get to, okay? Because you are going to want to be coming home for holidays and maybe for a wedding or whatever it might be, okay? So choose a university that's close to maybe an airport or a seaport, and also just kind of work out and map out the journey as well. So once you get to that airport or seaport, how do you then get to the university, okay? So is there good bus links, is there good train links, this type of thing, okay? So that's really, really important to think about. The second area we tend to think about and consider is reputation and facilities. You're lucky in the sense that there's so much information online now with regards to kind of university league tables and how they're ranked. What I would say to you here is take this information with a pinch of salt. So don't just look at the university name, look at the course that you're interested in doing at that university and see how highly that is ranked and rated as well. Because sometimes a university that might be quite far down the league table, it might be maybe down towards the bottom of the league tables, you might actually find it's one of the top universities for a particular course or a particular program, okay? So as I said to you, don't just look at the university name, look at the type of course that you're applying to at that university and see how highly ranked and rated it is as well. The third area then we're trying to think about and consider is student support. Student support is brilliant nowadays at most, if not all, universities, okay? But again, if this is something that's really, really important, you just make sure that you do your research and you find out that the university you're applying to are going to offer you any help and support you need, okay? So that might be maybe from a monetary point of view, in which case there might be lots of bursaries out there available to you, or it might be a case if you have something like dyslexia and you might need some extra help and support just with regards to your learning. So again, if that is something that is important to you and something that you require, do make sure that you do your research and pick a university that's going to be able to offer you that extra help and support, okay? The fourth area we're saying to consider then is the type of size of university. What we're saying to you here is think about the type of person you are. Where do you think you're going to fit in best, and where do you think you're going to thrive and be happiest? Okay, so if you're from a very small village, for example, maybe the thought of going to a large city university scares the life out of you, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so if that is the case, tailor your searches to the smaller kind of campus-based universities that'll be a wee bit more smaller, a wee bit more close-knit. Okay, similarly, you might be from a small town or village, but you've completely outgrown where you're living and you fancy something completely different than the kind of the bright lights of a big city, in which case, again, that's fantastic if that's going to be right for you. So again, look at the larger kind of city-based university. So really just do have a good think about where you think you're going to settle and fit in best, okay? The final area then we're saying to think about and consider is accommodation. Okay, so what we're saying to you here is don't leave it to the last minute to look into accommodation. Okay, and again, we're probably particularly talking here with regards to costs and prices. Again, cost it all up and make sure that it's going to be affordable for you before you put it down as one of your options. Okay, because you'd be surprised at the range and price of accommodation. You could be looking at accommodation in one university that might be maybe £80–90 per week, and then you could be looking at another university and it could be like maybe £150–160 a week. Okay, so it could be almost double, and it very much depends on where you're applying to. So do the research and check out what the prices are going to be like, but also check out about the availability as well. A lot of universities will give preference to first-year students with their accommodation, so that's great. And again, a lot of universities will give preference to students who are that wee bit further away from home. So again, hopefully that'll be of benefit to you. But just it is something to kind of look into and to think about, even at this early stage, just to make sure you're prepared for all eventualities. Okay, applying to university then, as I said to you before, if you're applying to Northern Ireland, Scotland, England or Wales, the good news is it's all under the one application, okay? So you don't need to worry about kind of applying through various different routes, okay? And it's all under the one banner, which is the UCAS website, okay? And it's an online application. So the University and Colleges Admission Service. The UCAS website itself is actually a really, really good website. I find it really easy to get around. It's very user-friendly, and there's loads of kind of frequently asked questions, lots of videos, hints, tips, that type of thing as well. So, you know, it certainly would be my first point of call. Hopefully, a lot of you will be already familiar with the UCAS website, but certainly if you're not, do get onto it as soon as possible and have a look around, okay? So UCAS.com, and that is how you apply, as say, for the programs. In terms of the sections you need to complete then, most of them are pretty simple, pretty easy to fill in. And the only thing that's going to take any real amount of time is going to be your personal statement, which I'm going to talk to you about a wee bit later on. So you'll see there, personal details, you're going to talk a wee bit about kind of student finance. They're going to ask you for your choice of universities. And as I said to you before, you only have 5 choices. So it is really important to choose the universities and courses wisely. Unlike with the CAO application, you don't need to put these choices in order of preference, okay? You can put them in any order at all, and your application will go out to all 5 universities at the same time, okay? They're going to look to find out a bit about your educational background. So they're going to want to know what you're studying at the moment, whether it be a QTI level 5 or whether it would be your Leaving Cert. And they're going to want to know exactly what courses you're doing and also your predicted grades as well. And they're going to want to look a wee bit into the past education as history as well. So they'll be looking at the likes of your Leaving Cert qualifications as well. Okay, they're going to ask you for a bit of information with regards to your employment background. So again, that can be paid or unpaid. And again, they just want a bit of detail with regards to that. They're also going to require that you provide them with details of 2 referees, okay? So we would advise, generally speaking, that you would get 1 referee from a school or college, and then you would get a second referee from one of your employment places, okay? So whether you have part-time employment or maybe you've gone and got some work experience, and again, that would be a good person to put down then as your referee. Really, really important to tell these people that you're putting them down, because it is really important in order to get your application in a timely manner that they complete the reference forms as quickly as possible. So do make sure you ask their permission to put them down, and you tell them as well once you've kind of submitted their name, and then hopefully then you guys will get in touch with them and they will have about 2 weeks then to reply with the reference. But obviously the sooner they do that for you, the better, okay? So you know, choose wisely in terms of your referees as well. Make sure that they're going to get those sent off for you in a timely manner. Okay, in terms of kind of important dates then with regards to UCAS, the application system for September 22, so any of you who are hoping to get to university in September 22, applications are already opened, okay? They opened up there last month on the 7th of September, okay? The price to apply is £26.50, so in and around kind of €30. So it's not terribly expensive, and that allows you then to use all 5 of your choices, okay? For anybody who's listening who is thinking about applying to Oxford or Cambridge University, or anybody who's hoping to get onto a medicine, dentistry or veterinary science course, the application deadline is quite early for those programs, a year in advance. So for anybody, again, hoping to start any of those programs or go to those 2 universities for September 22, you do need to have your application in by the 15th of October. Okay, so that's less than 2 weeks' time. So hopefully anybody interested in those areas or in those 2 universities, you will already know this and your application will be well underway. For everybody else then, the deadline is the 26th of January, okay? So you have a lot more time to complete your application for any other university and outside of those 3 programs, okay? Now, I would say to you, once again, take this information with a pinch of salt, okay? Do not be leaving your application until the 26th of January, okay? That's very, very late in the day. Applications opened, as I said, there in September. So, there's no reason why you shouldn't be kind of getting your application kind of sorted and ready to go in the coming weeks and certainly in the coming months as well. So, I mean, I always advise where possible, do try and have your application in by kind of Halloween time or certainly early November time. But I would definitely say to you, try and have it in this side of Christmas. Basically, the earlier you get the application in, the better chance you're giving yourself of getting a place on the program, okay? Universities and course tutors do not wait until the 26th of January to start reading these applications. Once they are submitted, they will start to read them. So you can imagine yourself, some people will already have completed and sent off their applications, okay? So, it really is important to get on the ball as early as possible, just to give yourself the best possible chance, okay? In terms of grades and tariff point systems, again, there's lots of information on the UCAS website and on the CAO website as well, just to kind of work out the conversion really from the CAO points to the QKI level points over to UCAS, okay? But you'll see there just in terms of the grades and the points that they would then allow you to get. So for example, a H1 would get you 36 UCAS points, a H4, 18, then the likes of an O3 would get you 8, an 04, 6, okay? So again, you will see whenever you're on the different university websites, most of them will give you what's called UCAS points, okay? So it's a matter then of converting that over. With regards to UK universities, the vast majority of universities will accept the likes of the QQI level 5 qualifications as well, okay? So again, some of the universities will have listed on their website what QQI level 5 qualifications they need, whereas other universities who maybe aren't as familiar with it, the best thing to do would be to contact them, let them know the course that you're currently undertaking, a bit about the modules that you're doing as well, the course that you're interested in applying to, and can they come back to you and let you know exactly what would be required from you in terms of kind of distinctions and merits or whatever it might be, okay? So again, it is going to take a wee bit of time to kind of do your research and to look into this. But again, it's a case of maybe you getting an email ready and copy and pasting it and sending it off to 5 or 10 different universities, whoever it might be. And hopefully then they'll come back to you pretty soon. And generally, universities are very, very good at coming back within maybe 24 hours or certainly 48 hours as well. So hopefully they'll come back to you with regards to the points that would be required for you. Again, anybody has any issues with that, I'm going to give you my email address at the end. So feel free to send us through an email and we'll try and chase that up for you as well, okay? For any UK courses, you will need basic English and maths, okay? So they will ask for them at GCSE standard of a C, okay? So obviously it doesn't need to be GCSE, it can be junior cert, leaving cert, but again, it's just about checking out the levels that are required there, okay? Okay, in terms of the personal statement, as I said to you, the application is actually quite a simplistic application. The only bit that will take any amount of time is the personal statement, okay? But the personal statement is probably the most important bit of the application. You can imagine the people who are applying for the accountancy program or the law program that you're applying for are all going to be roughly sitting on the same kind of grades as you, okay? So your personal statement is your one opportunity to kind of sell yourself and to stand out from the crowd, okay? So as you see there, it's a key part of the UCAS application. It's your chance to showcase your personality, skills, experience, achievements, and future ambitions to the university college admission staff. Okay, so the people who are going to be reading this. Okay, now if you go on to our homepage on the site, you will see that we have actually uploaded a document as well. It's hopefully going to the personal statement framework, and hopefully that'll be able to give you a bit of a guide as to the type of things that you're going to want to include and to write about as well. Okay, but essentially it's the only section on the application that you have full control over. Okay, and it's your chance to market yourself. Okay, your personal statement, you only get one chance to do this. Okay, so it's going to be exactly the same statement regardless of how many different courses you're applying to or universities you're applying to as well. Okay, so that's why it's really important to take your time and to do it right. Okay, and to cover all of your bases as such as well. It seems quite daunting really to get started, but once you do get started, you'd be surprised how quickly you can fill it in. So it's 3 large paragraphs really, so 4,000 characters or 47 lines is what you have then to complete. There isn't a spelling or a grammar check on the site, so again what we would advise you to do would be to do it out on a Word document and make sure that everything is as it should be, and then copy and paste it then into the application. Okay. You'll see below that every personal statement is run through software to check for plagiarism. So again, it's really important not to kind of just ask maybe a friend, you know, what they've written to kind of do something kind of very similar, because it will be picked up upon. Okay, so it's really important that, as the name suggests, this is personal to you. Okay, and it's all about you as an individual, not your friend or your colleague. Okay. Types of things then you're going to want to include in the personal statement. Obviously, you're going to want to write about the course. Okay, now that can be tricky if you are applying to a couple of different courses. Okay, so you need to be clever about that, and again, it's just going to take a wee bit more time and consideration. Okay, but essentially they want to know, why are you applying to a particular course at their university? Okay, where's this passion and love of this course come from, or this subject come from? You're going to want to know a bit about your skills and achievements. Okay, so that's going to be inside and outside of school. And again, it's just really important to kind of make sure that these skills and achievements, like, you know, pick out the personal qualities that are appropriate to the course that you're applying to and the kind of career path that you're wanting to go down. Hobbies and interests, again, it's about just making sure that you make these as relevant as possible as to what you're applying for. Okay, they're going to ask you a bit about your work experience, so they're going to want to know about any paid work experience you have, so part-time jobs, for example, but also if, for example, you want to do something like maybe teaching or nursing, have you gone out and got some work experience? Okay, just to kind of get a bit of a feel for working in that kind of area. Okay, so again, you know, what work experiences have you done, and what did you learn from these experiences? And finally, you can write a bit about then your future plans. So again, as I said to you before, if you already know the type of career path that you want to go down, that's great. Shows that you're really determined, you're really focused, and you're going about it in the right way as well. So again, don't be scared to put that type of thing, those types of things down as well, and to kind of just map out your journey over the next kind of 3 or 4 years as such as well. Okay, so we've listed a couple of useful websites there for you as well. So the studentroom.co.uk and studential.com, two really good useful websites that give you lots of hints and tips with regards to your personal statement, but also you'll find a lot of students who are in the same kind of boat as you, who are maybe asking questions just for help and advice with regards to kind of the type of things you're going to want to include as well. So really useful to go on and have a look there as well. Okay, so in terms of kind of how universities make up their mind and how they decide whether or not they're going to give you a place, okay, they will obviously review your application form. Okay, so they're going to want to look to see that you are ticking all the right boxes in terms of kind of the qualifications and the kind of academic background that you're coming with. They're going to obviously want to review your personal statement and just see how relevant that is to their course and to their university. And also the references are going to play a big part in this as well. And that's why, as I said to you before, it's really important to pick referees who are going to basically sell you, okay, and are going to basically be helpful in terms of backing up what you've written in your personal statement. Okay, for certain courses, whether it be like the competitive programs, they may then ask for kind of further evidence on this. Okay, so they might ask you to do an admissions test, or they might invite you over for interview, or again, if it's maybe the kind of the art and design based programs or performing art type programs, they may well require extra evidence in the form of, say, like a portfolio or an addition as well. Okay, so again, it is important to check this all out. These will all be included in the entry requirements sections of the website, so you will know whether these are going to be required for the program that you're applying for too. Okay. In terms of interviews, then, as I said to you, they will be required for the likes of maybe the teaching programs and for the likes of the healthcare programs as well. Okay, and again, I think this is a good thing for you, because it gives you really two bites of the cherry. Okay, so it gives you not only your application to sell yourself, but also gives you another chance to sell yourself as well. Okay, so it could be an interview or an audition, or you might be asked to provide examples of your work, for example, a portfolio or an essay. Interviews and auditions will help course tutors to compare applicants before deciding what offers to make. So again, it's another way of them whittling down the applications, because you tend to find, interviews will be used in courses that are generally oversubscribed. Okay. The types of courses that these would be like healthcare programs, as I said to you, so like medicine, dentistry, all of the kind of nursing programs as well, teaching programs, any kind of music programs, courses that you're applying for, and then the kind of art and design, performing arts based programs too. Okay, again, there's so much information online with regards to kind of typical interview questions for universities, and the UCAS again is another great place to look. But you're always going to be asked the same kind of questions to get started, and like, so kind of tell me a bit about yourself, okay, or explain to me what you've written here in your personal statement. Okay, so these are the kind of types of questions that they would generally use to get you started. Okay. Other typical questions would be like, why do you want to study this particular course? Okay, and why did you choose us? Why did you choose this university? What are your main strengths and weaknesses? Okay. Why should we offer you a place over other candidates? Okay, so what can you bring to the table that maybe other candidates can't? And again, this is maybe when the likes of the work placements and the work experience will come into play, and hopefully you'll have a lot to talk about then at that stage. What do you like to do, and what do you enjoy doing in your leisure time? Okay, and again, as I said to you before with the personal statement, it's about picking out the kind of the personal attributes from that hobby or that interest and making it relevant to the course that you're applying for and the type of career path that you're wanting to go down as well. Okay. Okay, so in terms of summarizing then what you need to do for your interview, preparation is key, research. Okay, so it's really important to do your research before you head for interview on each individual university. Okay, because they're going to want to know what you know about them and why you're interested in doing a university course with them. Okay. Body language is so important. So in terms of showing enthusiasm, smiling, being friendly, being approachable, eye contact, also so important. Really important to be yourself. And I know that can be very easy to say when you're nervous, but essentially, they already like what they see. They've read your personal statement. They want to find out a wee bit more about you. Okay, so it's really important to try and just be yourself on the best possible day. Okay, and again, ask questions. Whether the interviews are being done on at the university sites or whether they're being done virtually this year. Again, it's really important to use this time to ask about any questions that you might have to the people who have the knowledge and who have the experience and can answer those questions. Okay. Okay, so as I said to you earlier on, the application goes out to all 5 universities at the same time. Okay, they will generally come back to you then most of the time and will say to you, we're going to give you conditional offers. So yes, that as long as you get 120 or 130 UCAS points, we will give you a place on our program. Okay, and that's what most people will get. Very few people will get an unconditional offer. Okay, basically to say that they've got a place on the program. And the only types of people that would generally get that would be people who've maybe already sat their exams and they have their grades already. Okay, so don't be disheartened if you don't get unconditional offers. The vast majority of people will be getting conditional offers. Okay, based on how they perform in their exams at the end of the year. What you then need to do once your offers have come through, you then need to whittle your 5 choices down to 2. Okay, so you'll be able to pick a firm choice, which is your number 1 choice, and then you'll have a second insurance choice. At this stage, then you do disregard your other 3 options. Okay, so again, it's really important to do your research and to understand which are going to be your top 2 universities and courses. And then obviously you then put them down on the form. Okay, I'm going to talk to you just briefly then about applying to the Republic of Ireland. I'm just going to keep it brief because obviously this is a system that you're obviously a lot more familiar with. The reason why I wanted to go in a wee bit more depth about the UCAS system because it's not an application form, an application system that all Irish students would do. So again, I want to just talk a bit more in depth about that. So applying to the Republic of Ireland, and we have Dundalk Institute of Technology on one of the stands today as well. So again, do go along and have a chat with them. The application's through this www.cao.ie. Okay, there's no reason why you can't apply to both UCAS and CAO. Okay, and in fact, I would actually advise this because what you're doing there is keeping your options open. Okay, so you have 5 choices through UCAS, and then you will have then 10 further choices for the level 7 and level 8 university degrees through the CAO. So again, instead of having 5 choices, you will then have 15 if you apply for both. Okay, so certainly I would advise keeping your options open there. Okay, again, my advice would be to get the UCAS application done and dusted because although the deadline is now a wee bit later in January, as I said to you before, really you don't want to be leaving your application as late as that. I would certainly advise try and get it done and dusted this side of Christmas, and then that gives you a wee bit more time to concentrate then on the CAO application then over Christmas and early into January as well. Okay. With the CAO application, and I'm sure you know this anyway, but obviously you have 10 choices and you do need to put them in order of preference. Okay, so that's kind of one of the big differences between that and the UCAS system as well. Okay, the other big difference, I suppose, is as well that you do have a lot more time to complete this CAO application, and you can be really applying in May for the September that you're starting. Whereas with UCAS, generally speaking, they would want you to have your applications in well in advance of January. Okay, so you'll see there just in terms of kind of the dates that were for this year, really. The 20th January would be the discounted rate, and then the normal application then would be the 1st of February. Okay, so again, it's just about getting your timing right and getting both your applications in as early as possible. Okay, so the last section of the presentation then is with regards to the finance side of things. And as I said to you earlier in the presentation, to me, this is the most important thing to kind of find out about and to learn about. And it's something that I'd love you to be able to chat to your parents and guardians about this evening as well, because quite often it's the main off-putting factor for Irish students heading away to UK universities is, you know, the fact that they've heard that the fees are so expensive. So I'm going to explain to you a wee bit more about how it all works here, okay? How much it costs really depends on the jurisdiction that you want to go and study in. Okay, so a student from Ireland who wants to go to England, it's going to be £9,250 per year. Same in Scotland, £9,250 per year, and in Wales it's £9,000 per year. Okay, in England and Wales and in Northern Ireland as well, actually, a level 8 honours degree takes you 3 years. Okay, Scotland, it's going to take you the 4 years, the same as it does at home in Ireland. Okay, and so that's something to bear in mind. But do remember that the vast majority of Scottish universities will only charge fees for 3 out of those 4 years. Okay, so in fact, it's going to cost the same fee-wise as it would whether you went to England or Wales. Okay, so that's important to kind of bear in mind. And then obviously, you'll see there the Republic of Ireland then. The fees are currently in around the €3,000. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of the costs. You're probably looking at that going, I don't have £9,000 sitting in the bank. And very few people do, to be honest. And the good news is you don't have to have that money hanging around or sitting about. Okay, absolutely everybody is entitled to get a tuition fee loan. Okay, so basically what happens is the student loans company will pay the £9,000 or the £9,250, whatever it might be, to the university on your behalf. Okay, each year. Now, obviously, as the name suggests, it is a loan. You will have to pay it back, but you don't need to pay it back until you've graduated, you've got a full-time job, and you're earning over £27,000. Okay, so you're going to have to be earning around kind of £30,000 before you start to pay that back. Okay, so in many ways, it's great in the sense that you can go get your degree, get it done and dusted, and then obviously you'll pay it back then once you can. Now, it's a no-win, no-pay education system. Okay, in the sense that if you are under that £27,000 threshold, you won't pay a penny back. Okay, now once you do start to earn over the threshold, what happens is you are then paying 9% of what is earned over that £27,000, okay? So say, for example, you're earning £30,000, you will pay 9% of £3,000, okay? So it's actually a very affordable system. And quite often you'll be paying maybe like say 50, 60, 70, £100 a month out of your salary, okay? And you will pay this off over a long period of time. So it is a really good affordable system from that point of view. If you haven't paid off your loan after 30 years, any money that's outstanding there, any debt that's remaining will be wiped, okay? So again, you'll see there in the last section there, 83% of people will never pay off your full loan. So if you have £3,000 or £5,000 or whatever it might be at the end of the 30 years still remaining there, they will wipe that debt away, okay? So again, you will see quite often people are kind of worrying about something that might never happen from the point of view, you know, that say you will only pay back what you can afford to pay back, okay? And hopefully many of us will not have to pay the full loan back as well, okay? I just want to talk to you a wee bit then just about bursaries. Bursaries are different from loans in the sense that it's money that's given to you that you don't need to pay back, okay? So there are a few bursaries about at the moment, mainly around the kind of the NHS and the healthcare side of things. So you'll see there, the English bursary has come back into play there for healthcare courses. So what happens is you can, if you're applying to any of the nursing, midwifery and many other allied health courses, you will receive a non-refundable payment of £5,000 per year, okay? So that is going to be a really big help to anybody who's interested in those types of courses. And the next slide is going to detail the courses that applies to. So that £5,000 is going to go a long way to help paying for your accommodation and your living costs, okay? So you'll see there the website below, which has some more information, the www.gov.uk website, okay? But just in terms of the eligible courses that you can apply for with the English bursary, you'll see them all listed there. So there's quite a wide range there. Obviously, as I said, it has all the nursing programs, but also has the likes of podiatry, dietetics, occupational therapy, radiography, podiatry, speech and language therapy, okay? So again, quite a good range of courses there. So anybody who's interested in the likes of the healthcare program, that you know, UK is definitely somewhere to consider just in terms of the number of courses and that they have, the number of universities that have these kind of courses, but obviously also these bursaries can come into play as well. And in Wales, they also have a bursary there whereby they will pay your fees for your 3-year degree programme if you commit in advance to working for the NHS in Wales for 2 years after your graduation. Okay, so again, that's a really, really attractive bursary there. Now, a lot of people will say to me, you know, how do you know really whether you'll be able to commit to that? And I suppose essentially you would just say, yeah, I'm going to commit to that. And then after 3 years, if you decide you want to go home or you're maybe going to go traveling or whatever, it's not the end of the world, okay? Then you basically have to pay obviously those fees back, but again, it'll be done on an affordability scale, okay? And it'll be worked out then how much you can pay back each month as well. So again, really well worth considering, okay? That essentially the NHS in Wales will pay your fees for the 3-year programme if you work for the NHS in Wales for 2 years after graduation. Okay, again, in terms of eligible courses in Wales, you'll see a good range of programs there, so like the physio, dental therapy and hygiene, operating department practice, all the nursing type programs, occupational therapy, radiography as well. So again, all of those will be included on the government.uk website as well. So do go on and have a wee look, because obviously they're going to be of real benefit and real help to many of you. Okay, the last slide then just talks again about scholarships and bursaries. So again, obviously the last couple of slides have just been with regards to healthcare programs, but every single university has a pot of money set aside for scholarships and bursaries, okay? So again, as I said to you before, these are pots of money. These are money that's awarded to you that are tax-free and that you don't have to pay back. So if you're entitled to get anything like these, do make sure you apply and avail of these, because they're going to go a long way to help with your accommodation and your living costs as well. Okay, so you'll see there's over 150 million in scholarships available in the UK each year, but millions of pounds go unclaimed because people just aren't aware that they're able to apply for them, that they're available. So again, whenever you're doing your research for courses in universities online, do look at the university bursaries and scholarships to see what they have to offer, to see whether you can apply for them. Most, if not all, universities will have some kind of academic achievement scholarship. Okay, so they might say to you, for example, if you get 136 points, for example, you will get a £1,000 bursary or a £2,000 bursary each year. Many universities will have like the kind of the sports scholarships, and they might have one for creative writing, that type of thing. But also a lot of universities will have scholarships and bursaries just to help people who are just going to financially struggle at university. So maybe you're just going to find it tough heading away to university, and quite a lot of the universities will have like the kind of the hardship scholarships, and that might again give you £1,000 or £2,000 a year, and again that's going to go a long way to help with your living costs whilst at university. So do look into them, do your research and see what's out there, and make sure you do apply for them. Okay, so in terms of kind of tips on what you should be doing now, obviously I would very much recommend that you go onto our main site and start to look around the different exhibitors that are available. So we have 18 different universities available today, and they are all the staff members are there waiting to chat to you. So do make the most of this opportunity. You know that they're there, they're waiting to hear from you. Any questions or queries you have, please do use your time wisely today. But in terms of kind of things you want to be doing now, research is so important. Okay, so start looking at university websites, go on to the UCAS website, go on to like the student room website that I talked to you about before, and start to kind of do your research and find out more. Extracurricular activities, again, if you want to kind of, you need a wee bit more to kind of bump out your personal statement, and you need a bit of work experience or extracurricular activities, make sure that you get these organized ASAP. And for those of you who are maybe not heading to university until September 23, you obviously have a wee bit more time to get organized with regards to this, but now is the time to do that when you're maybe not as busy as you're going to be in your final year, and attend any virtual events and open days. Again, all universities will have kind of open days and events happening now over the coming months. So again, perfect opportunity to go online to find out a wee bit more. And again, a lot of the face-to-face open days and events are back up and running again this year, which is great news as well. So if you can go and visit these universities, you know, please do, just to have a look around and to make sure that it's going to be the right choice for you. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to the presentation. As I said, you make the most of this opportunity. Go and chat to all of the different exhibitors who are available on the stands. I hope you enjoy the event today, and that's my email address. So if anybody has any questions or queries, maybe on what I've talked about today here in the presentation, or certainly after the event as well, please feel free to email me. It's info@ER&M.co.uk. And again, if you need me to pass some query or question on to a particular university, I can do that for you as well. So please feel free to get in touch. Okay, thank you again for listening.